I'm going to show you how to enter grades in PowerSchool. So we're going to start off in Canvas. And there's a couple things I'd recommend you set up first just to make this process as simple as possible. And once you have it set up for a class, you don't have to change it the rest of the year. So I am in a course and I'm going to go ahead and click on my grades to open up my gradebook. Now from here, there are three things that I would make sure I have turned on. The first is I want to make sure I turn on these sections to make it easier to go from hour to hour. So I can go to View, Filters, and pull down to Sections, and that turns on this ability to change from 1 hour to the next. Next thing I want to do is I want to make sure my total column here is at the front instead of the end of my gradebook. And so all I have to do is simply scroll to find that total column all the way at the end. And when you tap the three dots, you can tell it to move to the beginning instead of the end. So I've already done that. So this total column now shows up right next to the student names. The other thing I can choose to do here is in the student name column, if I hover over it, I get three dots, and I can tell it to sort these names in A to Z order. So chances are if you had students who were added maybe late or came in the middle of the term, these things may be out of order, and so this is simply a way to adjust that. One last thing I can also choose to do, if I take my cursor and I move my cursor right on that line in the heading column up here, the heading row, if I move it right on that line, I can resize these columns to make sure that these fit evenly on the page. So now I'm ready to enter these grades into PowerSchool. So I'm going to open up PowerSchool, and once I've logged in, I'm going to open up my gradebook. And now once I logged into my gradebook, I want to double check, make sure I'm in the right year. I want to double check and make sure I am in the right class. This is first hour. And then I want to double check and make sure I'm in the correct grading period here. Once I've got all those things set, I'm going to go ahead and click on grading on the left and open up the score sheet. All right, this is where I'm going to enter in my grades. Now, if I clicked on a course grade next to a student's name, the place I'm going to enter that grade is actually all the way over here on the far right side of this window. So I'm going to simply resize my window just to move that over here closer because that's where I'm going to be punching that information. So all I have to do now is adjust my windows so that they're side by side. I look and I can see a student's grade, and I would simply go into the percentage box. You don't have to worry about the letter grade. It'll calculate that automatically. You go into the percentage box and you would type in the percent. So I can go ahead and type in the percentage for that student, and it'll automatically put that score in there. All right, the next student, I click on the next one down, or I can go up here to my arrows. So now this student got a 73. I'm going to go ahead and enter in their grade. And you'll notice here it calculates it to a C, but here it still shows up as an F. You can ignore the grades that show up in this column. Once I click Save at the end, it will update these scores with the correct grade. As long as it shows up fine in here, that's all that matters. All I have to worry about is that percentage, and then once I hit Save, it'll update all of those. So once I've gone through and done my entire section, then I can simply come up here and say, all right, now I'm ready for third hour, save your changes, and then come back over here and change to third hour, and then again, follow the exact same procedure from one to the next, entering those grades in and then clicking save. Don't forget about behavior and effort grades. You still have to go in and enter those the same way we always did before. Once you've done that, grades are done, and you're ready to go ahead and just submit the online form verifying that you've submitted your grade.